Jesse James.
She was born in the belly of chaos, where dreams were duct-taped and nothing came easy. Pops bounced early and home life was shaky. But even then, Cher had a presence. Belting out show tunes, she wasn't waiting for a lane, she made one. Before the world even knew her name, Cher was already hustling through heartbreak and secondhand heels. The industry tried to dim her light, but she clapped back with glitter, grit, and a mic in her hand. But behind the scenes or secrets no one knew about. What could this be? Grab your popcorn, because this is about to get more interesting than a soap opera. Cher was born in El Centro, Cali on 20th May 1946. Her dad, John Sarkeesian, was basically the definition of here one minute, gone the next. A truck driver with a side hustle and disappearing acts, gambling, and drugs. Dude dropped baby Cher in an orphanage before she even turned 1 and peaced out.
Right, I was in an orphanage. My dad put me in an orphanage, hello?
Her mom, Georgia Holt, a part-time model, full-time heartbreaker with Irish, English, German, and Cherokee roots, could only visit once a week and see Cher through a window like some tragic soap opera. Not so long, Mama Holt marries actor John Southall. He wasn't perfect, got rowdy when the booze hit, but Cher called him her real dad. Sweet, right? Until that fell apart too. By the time Cher hit 9, they were back to square one. However, Georgia loved love and divorce. She went through husbands like outfit changes. She actually tied the knot 6 times, dragging Cher and her half-sis Georgianne from one coast to the other. New York, Texas, Cali, rinse and repeat. Money was tight. We're talking broke. Little Cher was out here holding her shoes together with rubber bands.
I came from a family that was really, we didn't have very much.
Little Cher was out here holding her shoes together with a rubber band. By 5th grade, little Miss Cher was already that girl. When the boys in her class got stage fright and bailed on doing Oklahoma, Cher said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Literally. Sis took the reins, played the guy roles, and served musical theater realness before puberty even clocked in.
And one guy, and we put on Oklahoma, and it must have been so terrible.
And speaking of puberty, her voice, deep, like suspiciously deep for a 9-year-old girl. Young Cher obsessed with old Hollywood icons. Audrey Hepburn was her muse, especially in Breakfast at Tiffany's. She copied Holly Gottlieb's weird but chic vibe like it was a religion. But deep down, Cher clocked the game. All the screen queens were blonde and bubbly. Meanwhile, Disney was out here making all the evil witches like her. Dark hair, that was villain coded. She straight up said, "There was nobody I could look at and think, that's who I'm like." She had fame on the brain, but didn't feel cute or talented. Then came 1961. Georgia married a bank guy named Gilbert Lapierre. Fancy name, fancy money. He adopted Cher and her sis, gave them bougie new last names, and shipped them off to private school in Encino, where the rich kids rode up in convertibles. Cher, she didn't blend in. She stood out like glitter in a sandbox. Gorgeous, loud, and wildly creative. She slayed in French and English, but flopped in other subjects. Because plot twist, she had dyslexia.
Dyslexia is very interesting. It's like having a stroke because other parts of your brain click in. I can see something once.
But did that stop her from turning school lunch into a mini Vegas residency? Nope. She was out there belting songs in the cafeteria and casually rocking midriff tops while other girls were still in pigtails. At just 16, Cher said peace out to school and her mom's house.
It wasn't gonna, I didn't want to go to college. I quit school.
She packed her ambition, ditched the rules, and crashed with a friend. The friend dipped, but Cher wasn't fazed. She started grinding on the Sunset Strip, and not in a waiting for fame way. No, sis was in nightclubs, dancing, networking, hustling, name-dropping herself to every Tom, Dick, and jaded talent agent in Hollywood. Then, Sonny Bono entered the picture in '62. He was 11 years older, but she felt a connection instantly. When Cher's roommate ghosted, Sonny was like, "Wanna be my housekeeper?" And Cher said, "Sure.
You can move in with me." And I was like, "Yeah."
The girl moved in and got a front row seat to the music biz. Thanks to Sonny, she started singing backup for Spector's Wall of Sound classics. Yes, those major tracks like Be My Baby and You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin'. Her voice, deep, rich, and real. But it backfired on her debut single, Ringo, I Love You. DJs were like, "Who's this dude singing a love song to Ringo Starr?" and tossed it. Radio said no thanks, thinking it was a gay love ballad. We love progress. Meanwhile, Sonny and Cher were getting cozy. Friends turned lovers, let's go get married in Tijuana on October 27th, 1964. Sonny wanted Cher to go solo, but she was like, I can't face the crowd without you, boo. Stage fright had her by the throat, so he started joining her on stage. They were a duo.
I just sang because she was frightened of singing by herself.
She literally sang through him. Dude was her human teleprompter. Their first act, Caesar and Cleo, sounded like a Vegas act your aunt would see drunk. They dropped some songs, Do You Wanna Dance, Love Is Strange, Let the Good Times Roll, and it flopped. But don't worry, the comeback was brewing. By late 64, Cher snagged a deal with Liberty Records' Imperial imprint. She dropped her first single, Dream Baby, under her full name, Sherilyn. It got some LA airplay, enough for the label to say, okay, let's give this Sonny guy a shot too. So for round 2, she covered Bob Dylan's All I Really Wanna Do, and it cracked the US top 20 and hit number 9 in the UK in 65.
So we were one of just a few artists that had 5 songs in the top 20 at one time.
She later dropped her debut album, All I Really Wanna Do, and it hit number 16 on the Billboard 200. With the solo buzz building, Cher and Sonny ditched the Caesar and Cleo vibe and rebranded as the far more iconic Sonny and Cher. They cooked up their ultimate banger, I Got You Babe, and flew off to England in July 65. The song exploded, hitting number 1 in the US, knocking the Beatles off the top in the UK, and instantly turning the duo into a whole fashion movement. Teens were out here rocking fur vests, bell bottoms, and trying to clone Cher's sleek black hair. But the glow up had its bumps. In 1969, Cher got dropped from Imperial, and Sonny and Cher got dismissed from Echo. The gag, Echo turned around and offered Cher a solo deal behind Sonny's back. She recorded 3614 Jackson Highway, her R&B soul pivot, at the legendary Muscle Shoals without him. The album was fire, but Sonny wasn't having it. He hated the direction and basically blocked her from releasing more hits with Echo. By the end of the 60s, Sonny and Cher's fairy tale was fraying at the seams. While Sonny was out dating others, he had a change of heart and came crawling back, saying he wanted a real family. Cher agreed, and after giving birth to their child, Sonny Bono, on March 4th, 1969, they made it official and got married. But instead of coasting on baby bliss, they poured $500,000, including a mortgage on their home, into Chastity, an art film written by Sonny and starring Cher.
Mind opening the door? I turn my back and you sneak food in the house.
Unfortunately, the movie flopped hard, leaving them $190,000 in debt, plus back taxes. It was one of those burn everything to the ground and start over moments. To survive, the couple pivoted to nightclub gigs with a sharper, more mature act. At first, it bombed. The crowd heckled them. Then Cher, in true queen fashion, heckled back, turning it into a signature move. What began as survival comedy morphed into a sassy back and forth that caught TV execs' attention. Soon, they were guest starring on primetime shows, rocking a sleek, glamorous look that became Cher's signature. Low-cut gowns, bold presence, zero apologies. Musically, Sonny was losing his grip. His attempts to reboot their duo career went nowhere, until Cap Records brought in producer Snuff Garrett, who got Cher. He handed her Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, and it hit number 1 in both the US and Canada. It was a masterstroke that proved Garrett understood Cher's voice and persona better than Sonny ever did. But their personal relationship was crumbling.
No, he just didn't really care about me at the end, or not even at the end.
By late 1972, they ended their romantic partnership, though they stayed legally married for 2 more years to protect their brand. Behind the scenes, things were messy. Sonny's infidelity and controlling ways had worn Cher down. By 1973, they were living under the same roof, but openly dating other people. Cher was ready to break free, for real this time. In January 1974, fresh off her Golden Globe win for the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, the cracks in her marriage turned into a full-on rupture. Sonny filed for separation in February. Cher fired back hard, accusing him of involuntary servitude and financial deception. She just learned she was essentially an employee of Cher Enterprises, a company 95% owned by Sonny. Talk about betrayal. He controlled her contracts, her income, her whole career.
I mean, we had a company that I didn't even know was a company. It was called Cher Enterprises. And it was like very born yesterday. I'm signing everything. I have no idea what I'm signing.
But she wasn't about to stay silent. Then, David Geffen, the powerful record exec and Cher's new boyfriend, helps her legally escape Sonny's grip.
David is absolutely a genius.
She won custody of Chaz, and on June 26, 1975, the divorce was finalized. Though Geffen hoped for marriage, Cher walked away once she sensed his possessiveness and unresolved struggles with his identity. She was done letting men define her. Just days later, on June 30, she married rocker Greg Allin. Yes, 4 days after her divorce. But reality hit fast. 9 days in, she filed for divorce, citing his addiction issues.
He is a very gentle spirit that just isn't strong enough to deal with fame and fortune.
Still, they patched things up within weeks. And on July 10, 1976, their son Elijah Blue was born. Musically, Cher tried to shed her pop image with Stars in 1952, an introspective rock album inspired by Joni Mitchell and James Taylor. It flopped. But she didn't stay down. That same year, she launched her solo CBS variety show, Cher, complete with dazzling fashion, sharp comedy, and powerhouse vocals.
With your emotions, she'll trifle and give you an eyeful of the best in variety. Cher.
Even though it had strong ratings, it was eventually replaced by a Sonny and Cher reunion show in 1976. That comeback, historic. It was the first show to star a divorced couple. But while the ratings were initially solid, the public wasn't buying the act. The tension, the snarky jokes about their past, and her rocky marriage to Allman all fueled backlash.
We have a very strange relationship that no one will ever understand except us. And I don't think I even understand it a lot.
By August 1977, the show was canceled. In 1979, she legally dropped her last name and became simply Cher, a one-name force of nature. As a single mother of two under mounting financial pressure, she pivoted hard. Rock dreams on hold, she jumped on the disco train, signed with Casablanca Records, and dropped Take Me Home. It was bold, glittery, sexy, and it worked. The single and album dominated 1979, going gold and giving her a much-needed comeback. But music would soon take a backseat. Her 1982 new wave album, I Paralyze, flopped. It was clear, radio wasn't playing her, records weren't moving, and Hollywood still saw her as a flashy singer, not a serious actress. That changed when director Mike Nichols took a chance on her for Silkwood.
Go to sleep, you little babe.
Playing Dolly Pellicker, Meryl Streep's tough, no-nonsense roommate, Cher stunned audiences and critics alike. That role earns her an Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe, finally silencing the doubters. Still, the tabloids never stopped buzzing. By the late 80s, Cher was branded for her risque fashion, plastic surgery, and younger boyfriends, especially her relationship with Rob Camilletti, aka the Bagel Boy, 18 years her junior. But Cher didn't care.
I used to rack my brain to figure it out, and then one day I realized older men never ask me out.
In 1987, she returned to music with Geffen Records and smashed back onto the charts with her platinum-certified album, Cher, led by the rock-tinged I Found Someone, her first top 10 hit in years. The hair metal era loved her. Then, her body hit a wall. In the early 90s, Cher was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr virus and chronic fatigue syndrome.
You disappeared because of chronic fatigue syndrome.
Right. Epstein-Barr is what I actually had, and it was just a mess.
She turned down iconic roles in Thelma and Louise and The War of the Roses, too exhausted to work full-time. Desperate for income, she did infomercials, earning nearly $10 million, but catching heat from critics who accused her of selling out. Some said her career was over. They were wrong. Again. Her 22nd studio album, Believe, 1998, marked a fresh chapter. She moved away from her rock roots, embracing a disco-inspired dance pop sound that made waves. The album sold 11 million copies worldwide, went quadruple platinum in the US, and became a global success. The title track, Believe, became an anthem, introducing autotune to pop music in a new way. Cher then embarked on what she promoted as her final tour in 2002, Living Proof, the Farewell Tour. But Cher didn't retire for long. She followed it up with a $60 million deal for a 200-show residency at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, proving she could still bring the house down.
I decided to go to Caesar's Palace, which people didn't go there. It's like I always thought, what's Elvis doing here?
Her commercial success continued, with Forbes naming her the highest paid female musician of 2003, earning $33.1 million that year alone. But while Cher remained a living legend, she wasn't finished with telling her story. In November 2024, Cher released Cher, the memoir, Part 1, a tell-all about her childhood, her career, and her marriages to Sonny Bono and Greg Allman.
I've got a volume 2. I didn't want to squish it together because then you'd be carrying it around like this and not be able to read it.
The book debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, holding that spot for 3 weeks. Fans and critics alike are now eagerly awaiting the second part, set for release in 2025. Cher is straight up legendary, no cap. From the stage to the screen, she's done it all. Academy Award? Check. Golden Globe, Grammy, and Emmy? Yep, she's got those too. Not to mention a ton of People's Choice and Billboard Music Awards that just stack up her iconic status. She's also been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As for her net worth, Cher's sitting pretty, with a net worth of around $360 million, thanks to her hit albums, sold-out tours, acting gigs, and smart business moves. But what is she up to now? Cher's wrapping up her legendary run in 2025 with a farewell tour that's got the streets buzzing, her first in over 10 years. She's blessing major cities with classics like Believe and If I Could Turn Back Time, and rumor has it she might shut down Glastonbury's Legend slot to celebrate 60 years in the game, and is cooking up one last album, her first since 2013. Legacy solidified, vibes unmatched. Cher's bowing out, loud and proud.